Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, you pick up the newspaper, and the first headline says, "Your bank is closed." No mistake, no technical error, just closed. You rush outside. People are standing in long lines on the street. Everyone is asking the same question: where is my money? And the answer: it no longer exists. This is not a movie scene. This is not fiction. This is America. The year is 1929, and this was the real beginning of the Great Depression. No war, no earthquake, no pandemic. And yet, the most powerful economy in the world collapsed to the ground. And the scariest part? Most people didn't even understand what had happened to them. If you think this is just an old economic story, you're looking in the wrong direction. Because the Great Depression is not history, it's an X-ray of the system. In the early 20th century, America was overflowing with confidence. New machines, new factories, new jobs, and most of all, new stories. Stories that poverty was finished. Stories that making money was easy. Stories that the stock market only goes up. Every taxi driver was giving stock tips. Every neighbor had become an investor. And if you didn't have money, that wasn't a problem. There was credit, margin trading, meaning you could buy a $100 stock with just $10. If prices went up, you were a genius. If they fell, well, that part was never discussed. Banks were happy. Brokers were happy. Newspapers used one word: prosperity. But behind the curtain, something was quietly breaking. Factories were producing faster and faster, but wages were not rising the same way. People were buying on credit, radios on credit, cars on credit, stocks on credit. The entire economy was walking on crutches made of debt, and crutches are not meant to last forever. Then came October 1929. The first day, the market fell. People said it's just a correction. The second day, it fell more. People started selling. The third day, there were no buyers left. Black Tuesday. In a few hours, billions of dollars turned to paper. But the real disaster was not on Wall Street. It was on Main Street. At that time, banks did not keep your money locked in vaults. They invested it. They loaned it. They bet with it. When the market collapsed, banks had nothing left to give back. People stood in lines for their own money. And when a bank has no money, it becomes just a building. Between 1930 and 1933, thousands of banks shut down. In one moment, a lifetime of savings vanished. Jobs disappeared. Factories closed. Farms failed. By 1933, unemployment in America was nearly 25%, 1 out of every 4 people without work. No unemployment checks, no safety net. In soup kitchen lines, there were investors first, then workers, then teachers, then doctors. The irony was brutal. Those who took the biggest risks got out early. Those who trusted the system got trapped. The government made things worse. Out of fear, spending was cut, taxes were raised, meaning when people had no money, the government took more, trying to put out a fire by pouring gasoline on it. Then, in 1933, Franklin Roosevelt arrived. He looked at the system and said fear itself was the enemy. The government spent money, created jobs, regulated banks, FDIC, Social Security. For the first time, people felt the system wasn't only for the rich. The recovery was slow, painful, and then an uncomfortable truth. World War II ended the Great Depression. Why? Because the government spent without fear. It's a lesson that still feels uncomfortable today.
The Great Depression doesn't teach us that markets are evil. It teaches us that markets alone are not enough. And the most dangerous moment? When everyone says, this time is different. Because in 1929, everyone said the same thing. So the question isn't whether another Great Depression can happen. The real question is, when everything feels too good to be true again, will we recognize where the cracks are starting? Or will we be standing in the same line, waiting for our own money, and wondering, how did this fall apart so fast?